You're listening to Good Morning with Ashley, where we will journey through finding the good in life's transitions.
Everybody, and thank you so much for joining me for another episode of the Good Morning Podcast. If you are watching via YouTube, go ahead and like and subscribe. If you're listening on any of our streaming outlets, make sure you download this episode and share it with somebody. And of course, you can always visit www.ashleypopeonline.com to get any content as it relates to the Good Morning Podcast. Guys, we finally made it back to episode or part 2 of So You Think You're Ready Today. And of course, I had to bring back my good people because y'all asked. Y'all really did. Y'all was like, hey, can we get a part 2? So I brought them back. So, of course, I have my girl Amber here with me.
Hello.
The lovely. Then I have Pastor Leon McDonald, but he's not a pastor on my podcast. Of course, he knows this. The third, because remember, he has to have that 3. And then we have Dwayne. Don't forget the J. Logwood, Pastor Logwood. He's also not a pastor on my podcast, but he is here. Thank you all so much for joining me. Listen, everybody's schedule is crazy nuts. When we finally did get the schedule together, the power went out because of a crazy storm. So now we're here.
We're here.
Yeah, we're here.
And we're ready.
And we're ready.
I don't know about ready, but we're here.
We are here. And so this time, the first time we did this episode, I did let them know of the questions. This time I decided not to do that because I can't.
Is that?
Yeah. I mean,
We're in the hot seat.
Yeah, so they're in the hot seat today. And so we have some pretty good questions, some questions that you all asked. So I did a poll on Facebook. I also did some anonymous questions on Instagram as well. So I have your questions, and we are going to address them today.
Okay.
All right?
Somebody start praying right now.
Pray
Pray right at this moment.
So, as a disclaimer, listen, it may not be what you think all the time, whatever, but listen, it's going to be a good episode, and we're going to have some fun, okay? Let's just come out the gate. This was one of the questions that I loved, and we want to know from a male's perspective, and then I'm going to counter. I'm going to counter. I'm going to counter with the woman's perspective, but some ladies want to know, are men really okay with women shooting their shot?
You looking at me?
I see. Here we go.
No, so I guess I will make a statement there.
Okay, please.
Right. I believe, in scripture, where everyone likes to quote, when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing. I believe that.
Yes.
I understand the whole concept.
Yes, I love how you're projecting in the mic, too.
That being said, I don't believe that sometimes females understand the power of their desire. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes it's all just based off of the man's perspective. So I believe that there's a way that a female can express interest or express desire and still be respected.
Absolutely.
And so I think it can be, to me, it's like if the shot is open, take it. Whatever person, male, I don't think it's gender related. Mm-hmm. I just think it's who sees an opportunity. So if that being said, I don't have a problem with that. Now, of course, you still want to, be respected. You want to be a lady. You want to do things in a way where you're still being pursued. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, if there's a desire, it's like I would say to a female, if you saw a sale, you wouldn't wait on somebody to go get it for you.
Absolutely not.
You'd be like, let me get 2 of them.
Yes.
So at the same time, I believe in relationships, we can still have gender roles. We can still be able to be traditional. But I would say from a male perspective, I don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
I would say shoot your shot in a way that allows the other person to know that you are available. It's not too overbearing, but just enough for him to spark an interest and say, I'll go ahead and pursue it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just not all in, but just enough so he'd be like, okay, I think she's interested.
Okay.
And give that man an opportunity to say, let me go get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If I would add one thing, it's like you still have to have bait to catch a fish. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people are wondering why there's no fish on their hook, and it's like you never gave them bait to go get hooked too.
I see.
So like there can be a level of interest or desire that baits the fish to want to be on your hook.
Exactly. And the whole thing is like women want to be found, especially church women. He that finds a wife finds a good thing, obtains favor from the Lord. The whole thing is they want to be caught, but they're not in a position to be caught.
Yeah.
You know, how you gonna get caught? You in the house. You never know where to be found.
He gonna break
I'm
in.
looking,
Right. Yeah.
I'm looking for, I can't, my man to find me, you know, whatever, but you ain't nowhere to be found.
Nowhere.
Then when you come out to be found, you don't look like you want to be found.
Oh.
Oh my. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Hello.
Okay.
So you have to be in position to be found.
Yeah.
My
You'll
goodness.
never be found out of position. So if you're in a place where you're ready for someone to find you, you have to be in position to be found. If you are in position and you're ready to be found, he will find you.
Okay, Pastor.
Okay.
Come on. I almost gave him off.
He might be
Like,
all
like,
right
Yeah, my
today.
Cash App is $.
I'm not doing this. Okay, so to counter, act on this question, and I'm going to answer it as well. As a woman, are you comfortable with shooting your shot? So, like, I know, we know that you're dating. But prior to that, like, had you ever been comfortable shooting your shot?
I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
My mom and my aunts actually, they were like, you gotta go get what you want, and you gotta say something, and you gotta make yourself available. And I was just like, no, sis, I'm not doing that. And I realized it's this generation, because back in the day, they was like, hey, I'm going home with you after the basement parties and all of that.
Yeah.
But it's the whole thirsty thing. It's the don't want to seem desperate thing. And it's
Right.
not that. Like, I agree with both of them. You do have to, show some sort of interest, whether that's hey or give him a compliment back. Like, it's okay.
Right, right.
So I had a hard time doing that, but I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
I
Not at
agree.
all.
Yeah, same sentiments. I have never, took a shot. But I do think that it's okay to let somebody know that you're interested. So if he, approaches you or he just says, oh, you look pretty today. And not every, compliment is a guy saying or showing interest. Some people are just really complimenting you. So
Yeah.
you have to be able to know that as well. Everybody that say you look cute ain't trying to,
Right.
be your man, but I think that there's a way that a man lets a woman know that he's interested, and there's a way for a woman to let him know back that she's also interested. But as far as like just he hasn't said anything and you just going in and saying, hey, I think you're handsome and I would love to get to know you better, I don't know if I will ever be that woman. I don't see it. I don't think I would ever be that bold.
But why?
I think for me it's more of a pride, but also that being sought after. Because I agree, the church world teaches us that a man that finds a wife finds good, and that's true.
Yeah.
But when he meets you, you are not his wife when he meets you, so I get that as well. But my whole thing is I think that a man knows what he wants, and when he wants it, he'll come and get it. So if he ain't coming to get it, he probably don't want it.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a way for a woman to let a man know that she's available, or just letting men know that she's single. Just I'm open, I'm available, I'm single, whatever, but not necessarily like putting yourself on blast. Like, I really want to go on a date. Who taking me on a date? I wish I had these flowers. Who gonna buy them? But I think that there's a way to, like you said, be gentle in letting them know that, you're open, and versus just being hard and cold. And like you said, being sought after is another thing, because how I'm gonna find you at the house?
Right.
So you do have to put yourself out there a little bit, but not in a way where you seem to be desperate or, you know, it being ridiculous.
Men don't like desperate.
I'm aware.
Men don't like desperate.
What
Women-
does
women
women
don't-
look like, though?
Yeah, what does that look like?
I'm sorry. Am I
No, it's fine.
Okay.
I love dialogue. So yes, what does desperate look like to a man? That's a great question.
If you did shoot your shot and you didn't get a response,
Oh my God,
and then you shot it again,
you keep shooting.
you shooting air balls.
You at the free throw line, like
or if he's, Kurt, really directing Kurt short, which, you know what I'm saying, he's probably not interested. You know what I'm saying? That, we get this a lot in the inboxes, Pastor. One lady said she wanted to babysit my daughters.
wow.
Oh,
I'll
that's-
babysit. Oh, they're so beautiful. I'll babysit them. I'm like, I don't even know you.
Crazy.
We can swap. I got a son, and that. Wait a minute.
Wow, that's a lot.
That's a whole lot.
That's a lot.
No,
No,
no, man.
no. And I would say too, though, desperate to me is you need me to be you. I think it's powerful for a person to have self-sufficiency and independence.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's trying to go half to be one. No, I need you to be a one. You got to be complete. You got to be whole when I already meet you. So when you are insufficient and dependent, there's a difference between we can be interdependent. That means we can bring our whole pieces together and connect to make something that can have a multiplicative effect. But when you have to have me for you to eat, to accomplish every dream you have, to accomplish the ministry and the purpose and the assignments and the goals for your life, then what you're looking for is a sponsor, not a partner.
Ooh.
Why you got time? No sponsors on me.
So I like this. I like where this is going because desperation is a turnoff. And I wanted to ask that, what are some major turnoffs for men? And I'm going to ask that question, or we're going to talk about turnoffs for women. But what would you say your top 2 turnoffs are for women?
You want to go first?
Number 1 for me is needy. That's a turn off for me.
Okay.
Like over the top needy.
Okay.
You know, that's a turn off.
Like calling you every second. Can you needy?
That.
Yeah, it's levels to need.
Yeah.
It is overall like needy. That got to be on the phone all the time.
Okay.
Need something all the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, like you talking about being self-sufficient. Yeah. You know, that's a turn off. And
Can you speak up a little bit?
and one that does not know who she is.
Okay.
You know, you gotta have someone who's confident in who they are.
Absolutely.
You know, outside of you. You know, they got this thing. They know who they are. They got something going on for themselves. A turn off of somebody who ain't got nothing going on. Because if they ain't got nothing going on, they worried about what you got going on all the time.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Right?
Facts.
So, you know, I need you to have something going on.
Yes.
I need you to have purpose, power, and plan going on.
That's
Okay.
strong. I like
So while I'm moving and doing what I'm supposed to do, you're not consumed with what I'm doing. That it pushes you aside and gets you all off your square. You know what I'm saying? So if you got purpose, power, and the plan, you got something going on all the time. And we can meet somewhere in the middle.
That's good.
that. For me, it's a lack of ambition. It's a lack of ambition. I'm always thinking about possessing, claiming territory, what's next, never satisfied, never complacent. So when you get too comfortable, for me, that's a problem. So it's like, no, what we're going to conquer next, because the God I serve is never still. So if I reflect him, then my relationship should.
Yeah.
So like a lack of ambition and a lack of direction is big for me. And actually the second one is actually probably a shocker, is teachability. It, to me, when you are not teachable, then you can't be my partner. Because one of the things I love to do is be taught, and I love to teach. So if you're not teachable, then in my mind, you can't hear. Right. And if you can't hear, you can't listen. And if you can't listen, you'll never learn.
What's one thing you want them to teach you?
Man of God. I mean, there's a lot of things, you know. They're like, teach me, teach me. Train up a child in the way they should go. They will not depart. No,
Did I say
no? Like, I can be taught literally. I mean this on every level.
Yeah.
Like, I believe the reason why I say teachability is because I'm gonna be teachable.
Yeah.
And so, if I, as a man, am going to be teachable, like I use this word strongly, I demand teachability. Because to me, if you ain't got an ear to hear, then anything I give you is at risk of being fumbled. And so just teachability for me, and anything, any area, any place, I'm open to learning.
So if she's not teachable, that's a turn off.
Yeah.
If she's not ambitious, that's a turn off.
Yeah.
If she's needy, that's a turn off. And what was the other one?
She don't know who she is.
She doesn't know who she is. Those are good.
Yeah, really good.
So for me, it would be he's for everybody. And what I mean by that is somebody who has no boundaries.
Wow.
A man who has no boundaries is very dangerous.
For the streets.
He's for the streets. He's for the streets. If he lacks boundaries, our relationship is not going to be successful.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm talking about family boundaries, friend boundaries, work boundaries.
Yes.
Ministry whatever it is. If he does not have boundaries, we're not going to be okay, because at some point you have to say, I can't do this because I have to X, Y, and Z over here, or and if you don't have that, I'm gonna be outside leaving, like I'm done. I'm done. So
Check, please.
Being
Check,
for
please.
everybody, not having those boundaries, being too accessible, even going further in that, being for everybody too accessible to women. I get it. Like, there are professions and callings and careers and things like that that may have you in that sector.
Yeah.
But you being able to have the knowledge or even the wherewithal not to put your relationship in jeopardy,
Yeah,
for me, is a big deal.
for sure.
And the other thing would be what you said. If he's not willing to be a student and a teacher,
Yeah.
that's gonna be a problem for me, because I'm always looking to learn, and I'm
What are you
always
to learn,
looking.
Ashley?
I'm he's so irritating. I literally don't understand. But I'm always looking to learn whatever is gonna make me better, a better woman. And I feel like that there are things that men can teach women to make them better, and I think that there are things that women can teach men to help them to be better. Whatever that consists of, with where we are as it relates to our relationship, I'm willing to be in the seat of a student.
Yeah.
And I'm also willing to be in the seat of a teacher as well. So those are two things. If he's not teachable and if he's for everybody, I cannot, will not, ever. Okay. What's your thing?
Those are good. Mine would be a man with no vision. I
Yeah.
can't deal at all. 'Cause I'm extremely creative.
Absolutely.
And if you can't tap into, what I got going on, or at least help, or to provide or give advice or something, or if you're like, no, that's not a good idea, or I don't know if you should do that. Some stuff is far for me. Some stuff is like, you should not do that at all.
Right.
Like,
Right.
don't try this at home. But, just a man with no vision. If you don't have vision for yourself, then you're not going to have vision for our family, vision for me,
Absolutely.
or vision for what I have going on. I'm also extremely turned off by a man that is insecure. I can't deal. I would rather not. So those are my top two, along with what you said too. Like those are really good. I can't have nobody that's for everybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
What's amazing, can I just say something?
Sure.
Actually, is of what we just talked about are all soft skills. They're all things that are not the normal. And if you actually put a poll together, how many people are working on the things we just said? Right? So people want to date, people want to be in a relationship, people want to have a partner, but you look at whether it's neediness, whether it's ambition, whether it's purpose, whether it's clarity, whether it's their innovation, whether it's their ability to push your vision, whether it's who they're for, setting boundaries. If we're to say who's working on all those things, but yet saying they're ready to date, I bet that pool would be very small.
Very.
Absolutely.
Very.
And so that it actually creates a problem in the dating pool, because that person who is working on all of that is now attractive to everybody,
It's true.
which creates more competition, but also without boundaries creates an environment for exploitation.
That's it. That's good. That's
Well-
good. I love that. He always dropping gems. Y'all, all of y'all are actually, like last time. This is already really good to me. So another one of the questions was, how important are gender roles in a relationship? So relationship and marriage. So dating and marriage. How important are gender roles? You tired? Am, go ahead. I'm gonna start with the women.
I need a minute.
Okay, well, I'm gonna start.
I need a minute.
To me, and I'm not even gonna say in dating, because I feel like you're dating, so I can't. Well, there are expectations I'm going to have of someone that I'm dating, but I'm really gonna have expectations of my husband. And I think that gender roles in a marriage are important. I want my husband to be the man. I want him to flourish in being the man. So I'm gonna let him be the man, whatever that consists of. If that's taking out the trash, if that's paying the bills, not necessarily paying all of them, because and I get it, because this is a really big thing now, that whole split, that 50-50, and you going to pay bills, you're going to do all of that.
She's like, that's not my
I don't
testimony.
want to pay.
I don't
That's not my
listen.
testimony.
No, like, I want my husband to be the man, and I grew up with the man paying everything. You know, that's how I grew up. But I also realized that times are so much different, and that things are more expensive and all that. And to me, I think about the burden that my husband will carry, trying to carry our family on his back. So my thing would be, however I can help, whether that's car insurance, car notes, whatever. I'm going to do that outside of just taking care of the house, because that's what the woman, I feel, is supposed to do. And that's keeping the children in order, keeping the house clean, that's cooking, that's making sure my husband is satisfied. That's all of those things. I feel like women need to be women.
Yes.
And men need to be men.
Yeah.
And so like I said, whatever that looks like for you, because I feel like people establish that in their own relationships. They make whatever rules and boundaries as far as that's concerned. But for me, like I said, I want my husband to flourish in being the man. So whatever he feels like he wants to solely do on his own with the support of me, I got him. And whatever I need, I can do on my own with the support of him, I'm going to do that too. So it looks different for everybody, but that's just how it's going to look for me.
No, I 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
I don't even have anything to add or take away, except I don't want to pay no bills. I don't want to pay
Don't
no
hand
bills.
me a bill. And I don't mind.
I have a relative. She get like the groceries and she do the fun stuff. So if there's an open house or she's doing that, I want that to be me. I don't want to pay anything.
Well, and my mom said that when her and my dad, my father is deceased, so when they were married, they both worked. And I want to work. I don't want to be a stay-at-home nothing. As long as I want to stay at home is maybe the first year after I have a child. But after that, please send me to work. I'm going to be bored. But she said that what they did was she would get paid. They would pay their tithes out of her check, and the rest she kept. And then my dad paid for everything else.
I can do that.
And so that was just how they managed their money. Yeah. But again, that was like 1986, 80,
100%.
whatever. So it's like, that's how, like I said, you're going to establish it based off of where you are as a unit, but just looking at how things, happen and develop is going to be based on you all.
Yeah, I think it's both of you said it is key is you have to base it off of your situation.
Yeah, for sure.
I think where people get in trouble is they're trying to create relationship goals off of conditions that are not their own.
Yes.
So at that point, now you can't take somebody else's paycheck, somebody else's rhythm, somebody else's earnings, and now make that your lifestyle. That's not yours, sweetie. Like, come back here. Come to reality. Come here.
Back to earth.
Come here.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think you have to make it for you. When I was married, I paid every bill. My wife did not have to pay for anything. I paid for everything from housing, cars, insurance, investment, everything that related to her being alive and existing on this planet was paid for. I didn't even know how much she made until she got a W-2. I didn't ask.
Did she work?
She worked. She worked and was a professional and did very well. Okay. But for me, I just took pride in taking care of her.
For sure.
So for me, like, that was a part of me showing my love and affection, is to make sure she was provided for. But that worked in our on our set, right? So I would like to say it's got to be based off of your specific conditions. I will add to that. Sometimes we get in trouble with gender roles when we look too far in the past. Because when we're talking to grandma and we're talking to great grandma, and me and Laura would have talked about that in the past. I love great grandma and grandma, but they were living in a context where great grandma couldn't read.
Right.
They were living in a context where grandma had to stay with Daddy Hillman, even though he was cheating, even though he was hitting upside the head, because she had no options.
No options.
So now she was cooking and cleaning, not because that was her choice. That was ultimately the context she lived in. So you can't take gender roles from a era that doesn't reflect your current experience. So I just always say, make sure that we're being educated, make sure that we're communicating, and then make sure that we're aligned. And finally, I would say, and I love it, Sister Amber said it, I wanted to pay it all. And this is my only rule for women. If you want a man that's going to do all of that, then make sure you're doing exactly the same thing. Maybe not in finances, but in the other areas of the relationship.
Absolutely.
So if you want him to meet every single one of these needs here, then all of these needs need to be met over here
Absolutely.
to properly balance the relationship.
Yes.
But you can't be unavailable, unsupportive,
Not
you know,
cooking,
and
not
all of these
not
other
cooking,
things,
house
but then
dirty,
still want me to pay for everything.
In a bonnet when you get home from
mess.
work.
Right.
Gotta be
mess.
cute.
Devil
Gotta be
is
cute.
a lie.
Hey,
Listen,
mess.
if I'm not working and my husband come home, I'm gonna be fine.
Come on.
Okay, do
Baby,
you hear me?
Be ready.
I'm gonna be fine. I'm gonna be like,
Hey,
serve
be
it.
also ready. That's what the Bible says. Be also
I'm
ready.
gonna be
That's
like,
what the
have
Bible
a
says.
seat, baby. Here go your plate.
Bath
Come on.
water ran, food cooked.
Listen,
Come
what
on.
do you want?
That's what a lot
Let's
of
plan
that's what a
your
lot of
menu
women-
for the week.
That's what a lot
Yes,
of women-
because this is my little comment. You can't want a blessing, but then you're becoming a burden.
Ooh, okay.
What's your catch?
and most end up being that way. See, for a woman, as a man, you got to look at the individual. However, because I want to say this properly,
I'm
Please.
nervous. When he does that, I get very nervous.
this generation or this culture that we in right now has raised a lot of man boys. I want to say something else. But
Right. I know what you're going to
Thank
say.
you for not saying it.
So, based on the teaching, based on your upbringing, based on what has been deposited in you, gives your framework of how you transfer your love, your affection, your purpose in a relationship. Just like you being married, my ex-wife didn't have to pay for anything. Well, my love language is gift giving or receiving gifts. That's my love language. That's my number one, is receiving gifts. But it's kind of reverse, because I like to give gifts.
Because you love the way you like to be loved.
Yeah, you love the way you like to
That's something big for me. So taking care of all that. But I seen my father take care of everything. Right? So growing up and seeing that, it was embedded in me that even though my mother had money, she had her own business, the whole 9 yards, my father took care of everything. So I just duplicated what I seen my father do, but then I put some sauce on it because that's my love language. Right? So you have to know what you're getting into up front. If you're dating a man, because there's a lot of man boys out here, and you tell you're expecting to be taken care of in that manner, they're gonna have a problem with that.
For sure.
And say, you know what time it is? This 2022.
A lot
It's
of men feel like that.
50.
These men,
50,
they set up a little
50,
different.
50. I tell this especially to women in my church, sisters, whatever, who anybody's connected to me. If your man tells you he want to split anything with you, he ain't a man. He is not a man.
Can you say it again? I don't
He is
always agree
not-
with everything that you say, but I like
is
that.
not
Can you
a
say it
man.
again, please?
This gonna go viral because it's a
not a
lot
man.
of
I'm
men.
telling you, I'm telling you.
Jesus.
If a man said we gotta split something, he is not a man. He is not the man for you. Now, anything you want to add, that's a bonus,
Yeah.
right? My blueprint, what I was trying to convey when I was married, was check this out. I got everything. You want to go to school? Go to school. You get your degree? Cool. Whatever you make, that's play money, right? That's play money for us, right? That's money we get to trade. However we want to do it, that's money we get, and that's money we get to save. So we take a portion of that, you can put that into investments, savings, and you get to do whatever you want to do, right? How simple would that be? This heifer didn't even.
Oh Jesus!
That's all you.
Didn't want to
had-
cooperate.
That's all you had to do.
The way.
She got all that. No, I ain't doing nothing.
So let me ask you this.
Don't get my sister podcast.
Listen,
canceled.
it's not gonna get canceled. It's not gonna get canceled. So this let me ask you this. So because we're on finances, things like that, credit. Bad credit, is it a deal breaker?
That's a good question. Great question.
No, because it can be repaired.
Yeah, like I have a different financial philosophy because at the end of the day, if you get enough money, credit don't matter.
Facts.
If you got cash, you're cash rich. Like you're not leveraging credit, and when you have cash, then credit can be even jaded, and you have enough cash to cover it. So, but no, like because like you said, it can be repaired, it can be built. This is the problem that I would say: you have to have integrity financially.
Yeah.
Oh yes, absolutely.
If you in debt, don't look like $1 million.
Yeah.
But then when I look at your financial reports, I realize you should be in the projects. Okay. And so I think in the dating, we talked about this a little, the last episode that we did together. I think there's a lot of people who are masquerading to possibly land a partner to only then get into a situation where we're saying fake news. So I think we have to have integrity financially. Like, where are you? If you have debt, let's talk about that.
Right.
If you ultimately are, paying off student loans, let's discuss it. What is your financial philosophy? So to me, like, credit, I could deal with. Just let me know what I'm getting into.
Absolutely.
Like I was, and this is like a part of our testimony. Like, when I got married, I was like, we're gonna be debt free. We have no debt. So if you got debt, I'm paying your debt off. Because I want us to go in without any scars of your financial past.
Yeah. That's good.
So like that, so that was one of my Christmas gifts. We paying off debt.
Wow.
Ooh,
No, we ain't buying purses.
I want to. Can I intersect?
Yeah, sure.
I think this is a generational divide
I was just about to say
because the
that,
men and you guys are in your 40s, right?
Yes.
50s. Oh, I keep forgetting he's not 50 yet. My bad.
Thank you.
Who's 50?
Don't make me 50 yet, Angie. Please don't make me 50 yet.
It's the grade.
I cannot
Did you do
breathe.
that?
No.
That's what we doing here on
can't.
this. We about to cancel this right now. Cause I'm about to turn this mother lover. I'm about to turn that
I'm
up.
sorry.
Did you
Okay.
my nigga?
Hey.
No,
She don't mean it. She don't mean it. Okay, look, let's focus. Let's focus.
Okay.
Reverse,
Let's
rewind.
focus. We're refocus.
Yes,
Refocus.
generational divide.
So nice to
Generational
you when
divide.
I was so nice to you when I came in here.
I can't
You
get
thought
mad.
I'm a 50?
It's okay. She just playing. She playing. It's okay. Have some. You need some water. That's the problem. You need some water.
Okay.
Listen, this is a generational divide. I'm convinced 1,000%, because I feel like men in their 30s and 20s, definitely in their 20s, but men in their 30s who are not mature up here, have this. They are like, no, that's the 50-50 generation.
Yeah.
That's the I ain't paying off your debt. That's on you.
I bet you look at their home life.
Yes.
Look how they mama cater to them. Look how they don't have any responsibility. Look at they don't have any chores. Look at it. They don't have they don't have any structure.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
They have a mother that's catering to them. Have a grandma that's catering to them. Big mama ain't around no more. You get these grandmas, they go to the club.
These grandmas are 50.
They outside.
The grandmas are 50.
You know, they still they get in their groove. Man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they don't want to babysit. They don't want to do nothing.
Right.
So you got to look at that home life in that generation. So them guys in their 20s and 30s, look at that structure. They don't have that discipline.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they don't have they don't have that man.
Yeah, but can I add something there though?
Yeah, sure.
I think we have to, just to provide balance to this. If we're going to live in that age in that way, that also may mean we need to downgrade our request, right?
Okay.
Because we can't say we want the guy to pay for everything. Well, if he's only making this, how can we
can he?
demand
Absolutely.
that level of
That's
lifestyle?
good.
That's good.
So then a guy could say, okay, if you want to live that way, that's going to require giving more your way, because I just can't give you that.
Right.
Because to me, it castrates a man from the aspect of protector and provider for you to ask me for something I can't give you.
Absolutely. I
So
agree.
now I don't feel like the man to you because what you want I can't provide for you.
And see, the thing is, I ain't talking about the ones that can't.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the ones that
Can and decide not to.
and are making a conscious decision not
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
That's different.
Yes.
When you have these men who are, stable financially, and even get together with a woman who is financially stable, but still says, down the middle, here we go. This is how we doing this, down the middle.
Yeah, that's
because
different.
I
Okay.
want you to keep it, and I'm gonna keep it, and I'm gonna do that. And I get it, because they may not, even though they are able to, they may not have been raised in a household that where they've seen this before. And I think that men could counteract and say, well, women don't do, everything that they're supposed to do. Like, I do have a question here, and the guy asks why women don't cook anymore.
So they can't.
Facts.
And that is the and I literally said I answered the question. I said because they cannot, they can't cook, and so it's like if you didn't grow up in a household again where you got your mama and your grandmother, I was in the kitchen. I didn't have a choice.
Yeah,
it was like a no. You're 5, but you can snap some green beans. It was like, and so it's like
peel them greens.
You gonna listen. You gonna clean. You gonna learn how to clean this chicken. You gonna learn how to do all of this stuff. But everybody doesn't grow up that way.
It seems like nowadays though, if you ask someone can she cook, she can get offended. Like,
but it's a valid question.
Right.
Can you?
You do eat right. You do eat right.
And here's the thing too, because we're gonna get here, but about how men and women become too common with each other in relationships too soon. And this is a conversation I had with my mom because I was in a relationship where I was playing wife almost, where I was cooking and cleaning and all of that for somebody who wasn't my husband. And it was like, she said, you're doing too much. She said, cook them one meal. Let them know you know how to cook and let that be it.
Yeah.
She was like, as far as like constantly doing the cooking and all the different stuff, he want more. He's going to do more so that can be something. I was cleaning. I was cooking. I was
cooking and cleaning.
I don't like it. I don't understand.
Doing the cooking and the cleaning.
No, seriously.
Yeah, I got you.
And because I felt like, listen, no, for real, women, sometimes we feel like we're auditioning for a role in a man's life. So we feel like we have something to prove. So I got to prove that I can cook, that I can clean, that I'm financially stable, that I can help you balance your books, and all that different stuff. Like
balance books.
We feel like we have to do some of those things to make ourselves seem to be more qualified than the next person. Only for him to turn around and pick trash, for the most part. That's what's sad, because I'm serious. Because you can cook and clean and do all that stuff, but if you're not giving up the booty, if you're not having sex, well then what are you doing all of that for? Because there's something else I need to know that you can do, and I get it. I understand the generation that we're in and we're gonna get here too. Sex and dating, no matter where you are in your Christianhood and all that different stuff, how it becomes a factor. Yeah. It really does. But that whole thing about becoming common, do y'all have an issue? I mean, like, when I say becoming common too fast, I mean, y'all get together, you make a conscious decision that you're going to be together. All of a sudden, she turns into a different person. And when I say that, I mean, like, she stopped being so cute. And every time you call her, she got her bonnet on, and it's like, "Where you been today? Nowhere." Where she stops being the woman that you met, and vice versa. He stops being the man that you met. Everything that he did to get you, he no longer does.
Well, that's a simple thing. Whatever you did to get him, you got to keep him.
Exactly.
You gotta do it to
but they not doing that. They get him and they stop.
I will add one piece to that if I could.
Okay.
I believe that the investments made in the relationship may not always be the same, but they should be made. Now, this is what I mean by that. Because who you are at 25 is maybe not who you are at 45. Mm-hmm. So you got to keep making investments, but the investments I maybe need at 45 are different than the investments I need at 25. Mm-hmm. You go talk to somebody that's 55 to 60 and dating, they like, he may not be that cute, but he take care of the bills. Mm-hmm. He's stable. He not losing my money. He gonna be there. You know what I mean? He's solid, right? But when you were 25, you want to be. He got to be, tearing you up. You want to be swinging from the chandeliers and all of that. So I think the whole idea is investments have to continually be made into the relationship to make sure that it's profitable.
Absolutely.
And they may not be the same, but they must be made.
Yes.
That's my thought.
Yes.
To make sure you don't stay in that realm, being too comfortable, I got this saying, answer the request. Mm-hmm. You got to communicate the request.
Facts.
This is what I like to see.
Listen, you got to say that.
And you have to make that clear. Mm-hmm. Because men, we are visual.
Yes, you are.
First. Yes. Right? We are visual beings, and we see black and white. Women see colors. I said that last time. But you must answer the request. So if I request, this is what I like. I like to see this on you. Mm-hmm. You got to answer that, right? Because a woman, you got to think the bigger picture. Mm-hmm. So if a man is telling you, this is what I like to see, it's probably a great potential that he's seen what he like, but he would rather see it on you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's good.
Right?
That is good.
So
Fine.
if you don't answer the request, then the attention is going to go on what he sees.
Absolutely. I agree.
So if you continue to answer the request, there's nothing for him to look at outside of you.
Facts.
And we get too comfortable in that realm where we stop doing those things, we stop answering the requests, and then we're wondering why the relationship is not where it should be.
Yeah.
We wonder why there's a breakdown in communication. We wonder why he ain't so affectionate, why he ain't paying me that much attention, why he ain't talking to me, why he ain't doing that, because you're not answering the request.
Yeah.
And the man is frustrated, and men are not that verbal, right? So he's dealing with all that in his, those words that y'all use. 50,000 words to our 10,000 in a day. So all those 10,000 is going in here, right?
Yeah.
Not being communicated, but we thinking about it. So now we say you in that bonnet. We ain't say nothing to you, but went downstairs like.
That bonnet on.
Mad.
That bonnet.
Frustrated.
So tired of that bonnet.
You know what I'm saying?
Because loyalty has its limits,
Yes, it does.
and commitment does not remove the expectation for competence.
Yes.
So just because I'm committed doesn't mean you get to be mediocre.
Right.
That's good.
And just because I'm loyal, don't,
That's
Yeah, women
good.
take advantage of that, right? Women take advantage of that when a man is loyal and committed, especially when they know he is, right? Especially, you committed in this marriage for better or worse, rich or poor, for real, and you take those vows serious, and they know that. They take advantage of that because they know you ain't gonna step up. Why? Because you got too much to lose, and they know you in a position where you don't want to mess up because of things you're going to lose, right? So if they know you like
That's
that,
good.
I know, because he's not going to jeopardize. It ain't even got to be about me, but he ain't going to be jeopardize those things that he could potentially lose. So they take that for granted, and they use that against you. So you gotta be at a
Strong.
place you cannot allow that to happen. If you just continue
That's narcissistic
to answer
It is.
the request on both sides, right? I like it's go both ways.
I feel like I am one that answers the request, but you all don't always communicate the request. So in my relationship, I'm always asking the hard questions like, are you still interested? Is there something that I don't do anymore? Do you still like me? Am I beautiful? Because I don't do the whole bonnet thing. I don't just be, I will not answer. I will send you the voicemail. I mean, send you X that out.
Same.
no FaceTime today.
And call. No, I'm not doing
Same.
it
Like, I'm not
because
FaceTime ready.
I am fully aware that you've seen so many beautiful women all day, and I don't want you to answer. And I'm scratching my head in the bed, like no. And just because just no. So yeah, I feel like a lot of men don't communicate the request, which isn't fair at all. But yeah. I think that along with you all, what you said, you all can communicate the request as well. Yeah,
I agree.
for sure.
Yeah, and I think that men do become comfortable, and that you all sometimes stop doing things that mean a lot to us.
Yes.
I'm very
Faster
simple.
than women.
No.
Yeah, I'm very simple.
Faster
so it's
than
like
women,
a
man.
flowers thing would be like, that's simple.
Me too.
Flowers every week, once a week. That's simple to me. I'm a cook. I'm gonna make sure you got good old dinner on the table every day. You gonna eat good. Just bring me
Where my
some
flowers at?
Where are my flowers?
Where my flowers at? I need to know where
It's
flowers
so
at.
simple.
I forgot. Oh, I forgot to cook too. You know,
You
but
hungry yet?
right? Are you right? But I think that again, those requests do have to be made on both ends.
Yeah.
You know, I think for women, ours isn't as visual as you all. Our things are more mental, emotional action. So if for me, or like Dwayne said, gifts was his thing. For me, it's quality time. You're busy. You're a busy man. We're busy people. But when you take time to carve out time for us, you can have anything you want from me. What you want? What you need? You know? But it's like and I think for for women, it's little things for us.
It's him.
It's the little. It really is the little things.
It
for
is.
us.
I
and I
agree.
mean that it really is the little things.
agree.
For us. Like just a simple text and hey, I'm thinking about you. You don't want us to blow up your phone all day? Text us and be like, hey, just thinking about you. You good? You know, whatever. Yep, I'm great. I'm good. I'm not gonna bother you for 6 more hours because you just checked on me.
7.5,
Maybe
actually.
you know. I'm
Like, you just got your work shift back.
Listen, enjoy yourself.
Right.
Have a good time.
Got your whole shift
hey,
back.
I'm going out with the guys tonight. Just wanted to let you know. Versus me calling you and you don't answer. You know, stuff like that. You know, just being proactive in that communication. Those things are important to, you know, little things, I think, on both ends. Y'all is more visual. Ours is more mental, emotional actions type thing. So,
absolutely.
Yes. All right. This question is for Dwayne because he's the only person that's really going to be able to answer this. Dating someone with children. What boundaries need to be set in place, and when is it okay for you to introduce your children to who you're dating?
Number one, I don't think you should introduce your kids to nobody that you're not intentional with a future.
Okay.
Right? If you just dating, trying to figure it out to see if I like this person, that's not the time.
Keep that.
Yeah, do not introduce your. If this is something that has not been committed for long term, don't introduce your kids to them until you are sure this is somebody I'm going to be with long term.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so because you know you bring kids into the equation, they're pure souls,
Absolutely.
right? And they get attached easily, and especially if it's a situation where the father hasn't been there. Now you see a man that comes in, they're going to be attached to that man. The more they see him and he's cool, he's nice, and they're going to get attached to that. Their heart's going to open to him. And then y'all break up, they go, where
Jerry?
Right.
Where Jerry?
Jerry go. I liked him. I like that one.
What you do, mama? You mess it up with Jerry?
Yeah, you know. And you got all, you know, then there's all these uncles. You know, wait a minute.
Listen.
Wait a minute. How many uncles you got? You go to a family reunion, you never see them. Right?
Do people still do the uncle thing?
I
That's
think
so
they do.
hilarious.
I think they do.
Well, yeah, you have to be cautious. You have to be cautious with that.
Yeah.
You have to be very cautious. You have to always think about your kids, man.
Yeah.
That's got to be your top priority.
Absolutely.
You got to put them first. Put them before you put yourself, because they didn't ask to be here.
Yeah.
They are your responsibility to cover them, protect them, and to shield them in all aspects. So you can't put your situation above your children. I would never, and I never have, been interested in any woman that put a man over their kids.
Yeah.
You talk about a turn off.
Instant.
That's a turn off.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Same
So
for
then when
women.
I see that or hear that, especially being a pastor, and you get to get those information things that come to you like that, you be like, what? That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? That's irresponsible.
Yeah.
And that's just bad life skills. Don't ever do that. You know what I'm saying? You wait to put your husband first
Absolutely.
in the
I
home
agree.
structure.
Absolutely.
Right? I'm coming from old school where my dad, his plate was fixed first.
Absolutely.
Then the kids.
Yep.
In that setting, you put your husband first. You don't put your boo first.
That's
You
good.
put your husband first.
Absolutely.
Until he puts a ring on your finger, your kids come first. Then you deal with that Negro. You know?
Agreed.
It's pretty simple.
Agreed.
That's good.
Yeah.
I think it speaks to also like having a philosophy towards how you want to approach having children, whether you have kids now or whether you want to have them in the future. Because I think that's a huge part, because now we're in a day and age where there are some people who don't want children.
Right.
So how do you even handle that? Like, I'm a candidate or a prospect, but I don't want kids. That's something you need to discuss early on before your heart is tied into
gotta do
it.
that the day
And now,
one.
you know what I'm saying?
Listen,
But I think that those
immediately.
things
Immediately.
come into play. And then what you said, it was really powerful, whether it's a man or a woman, I think we're looking at that person saying, how you handle your children is really a microcosm of how you will handle mine.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah,
at the
true.
end of the
Agreed.
day, if that's the one you have now and that's how you're handling them, I'm afraid
Yeah, I'm
for how you would handle mine. So now little Leon gonna be at school like, is mama coming to pick me up? But you were doing that already.
Right. So y'all having a babosa.
Right. You know, and so the truth. But I mean,
I'm tickled.
actually, the truth of the matter is whether it's kids or not, how many of us sitting at the table or even out there, whether it's YouTube or Facebook, can say there were signs and signals you saw in a relationship that spoke to underlying behaviors that we ignored or we ran through that amber light.
You are so tapped in.
80.
But I'm telling you why, because I was thinking about on the way here, just getting little nuggets, to come into my mind is the signs, man.
Yeah.
Why on both sides do we refuse to acknowledge the warning signs at the beginning of stuff?
Because we want to be
overlook
loved.
those things.
And liked.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And I was saying that too, just speaking to myself again.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because as we live, we learn so much. And it's like, man, all those warning signs was there at the very beginning, but for whatever reason, you combed over them. Say, it's all right, because every woman has a touch of crazy.
Me too. I'm gonna say it too. We all do.
Thank you, Bishop.
Leon. I just want to be invited back. No, we all do. But yes, go ahead. Continue the thought, though. I'm with you.
Women for sure, because I know
woman
I
has
do.
a touch of
Every
it's not a
woman.
bad thing.
No, it's not.
Because, to be honest,
Yeah.
all men like a little crazy.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Bless your
Just a
heart.
tad.
Yeah.
It's
Too crazy.
a whole lot of crazy.
That y'all can't handle.
It's the underlying crazy. It was like I knew you was crazy.
Right.
But I didn't know you was that crazy.
That crazy.
Right.
Right. Or can we say it like this as well? Does your crazy mix with my crazy? Because a lot of times, like my crazy just.
Can I live with your
Yeah, I can't live with that one.
Yeah.
You know?
There's some crazy you cannot live with.
It
If
make
I
me
can
more
live with
crazy.
your crazy, we good.
Okay.
But those signs, I'm talking about those warning signs where it's some extra kind of crazy on that. Where you're like, you know what? That wasn't right. You know what I'm saying? It's something behind that or something deeper than that.
Yeah.
Right? That they're hiding, or you know what I'm saying? It's like it's something there. And when you just wash over that, you create potential for disaster in a major way.
Yeah.
When it could have been avoided. I told them on Sunday, some of you are praying for a miracle. You don't need a miracle. You need to make better choices.
Yeah.
No,
You
really.
need to make a better decision.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, talking about, oh, Lord, I need a miracle. God, give me a miracle. No, you need to make a better decision.
Yeah.
If you just made a better choice, you wouldn't need a miracle.
Yes.
So stop wasting my good prayer time and God's time on talking about you
good
need
prayer
a
time.
miracle for this when
yeah.
you just need to make a decision.
A better
Not
decision.
to do that. You need to make a decision to walk away. You need to
Absolutely.
make a decision. I'm not going down that road no more. I'm making a decision to turn away from that, and I'm not going to that anymore. I need to make a better choice. I need to make a better decision. Your mama told you he wasn't no good. Your daddy said he ain't the one. Grandma said nope, but you did it anyway. But now you see, now you need a miracle. Now you need a
way out.
breakthrough.
You need a way out.
Right? You know, he was Prince Charming. By the time he got that Negro home, he was Freddy Cougar.
Listen.
But the warning signs was
Are
there
there.
in the
whole time.
beginning.
Yes.
Right? So you can't be so desperate that you want to be loved, so open to anything that you refuse to look at the signs, say it's something there that's deeper than what's on the surface. And you know what? I'm straight on that.
Absolutely.
And I'm okay to cut ties right now and move forward to find the crazy that I can accept.
I like that. So I'm going to comment on that, and then we're going to segue to our very last thing. But that whole thing about those warning signs are always there. I believe that 1,000%. Yeah. And it's so funny because when you're in love, you can't really, you see it, but you don't see it. You know, you like, oh, that's a little crazy. But you know who does see it? Your circle. They'll see it and they'll tell you. My mom used to say all the time, when I was dating, she said, you love him. I don't. So I can see him.
That's good.
You can't. I can. And he's no good for you. That's what she would say. She would say, he's a good person. He's just not good for you. She would say, she said that to me.
Wow.
And I would be like, I was being a hater. You know,
Trying to extinguish my happiness.
She ain't on me. She don't want me to be happy. Like,
Right.
I was really convinced. But the more I started using my brain in that situation, the more I started to see what she saw.
Yeah.
And then I started getting mad at myself because after you think about the time that you've wasted, you know,
Yeah.
with something that you know, this is not this ain't gonna go nowhere. It's really not. Then you know, you get upset. You know, you get mad, but it's never too late to make a decision to move on or to move out of that situation. So I hope that people, you know, that they do that. You know,
You know, that's wisdom talking.
Yeah.
You know, like when you get 50, you see things differently.
Yes.
Right. So when you was younger, it's hard for you to fathom like, oh, they hating on me. They don't want me to be happy. They this, that, and the other. But that person, that individual that's speaking to you, they're speaking out of experience, speaking out of wisdom, and they see something that you cannot see.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
So, and as I get older, especially you start getting around 50, it's easy to pinpoint those things, not only through the gift of discernment and being spiritual, but by life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right? Like I seen that before. I know that type of guy before. Why? Because I've dealt with that type of guy.
And that's why I'm
worked
single,
with
because
that.
I see it. And I see it, and I be like,
You know,
Can
you
I
see-
add
That's
this
it.
too? Sex makes things very cloudy.
Okay, stop.
Oh,
Here we are.
Okay.
This is where I was getting to. Sex and dating.
Amber jumped right to it.
She got the
She
Holy
was
Ghost
ready to
was
talk
moving.
about that. I don't know about the Holy Ghost,
moving.
but I know about the Holy
Nah, we coming. Listen, sex and dating. This is the last thing that we're going to talk about, and I know it's going to take probably about 5 to 7-ish minutes of our time, maybe 10, and then we're going to wrap up. It's going to be done. But I wanted to save this for last because I feel like this is something that is so overlooked, and especially in the Christian community, we just get told don't have sex. Just don't.
Yeah.
You know, there's not really a whole lot of explanation of why and all that different stuff. And then sometimes even when we know why, we still do it anyway because, I mean, why not? You know, that's
Right.
how, you know. And so
Well, if you sweetly saved, you're not going to.
if you
do-
sweetly saved
You're
now,
not gonna do it.
you ain't going
That is not
If
true.
you have,
don't like
if you
him.
have,
You know my
It's
nerves.
not true.
if you have the Holy Ghost,
Oh, it's okay.
you know, if you got the Holy Ghost, you ain't gonna do it.
Okay.
It's okay.
All right.
You okay?
Okay.
What is sweetly saved?
Listen, I don't know. I only know 2 people that sweetly saved. My mama and Cece Winans. I don't know nobody else. They sweetly saved. Sweet. That's it. That's all I know.
Like 2 people.
Where were you going with that? Because I do want to talk about that. You said, what did you say?
Sex makes things, your mind, very cloudy.
It does.
So you easily overlook the red signs because the sex is good, because now it's a soul tie, because nobody ever made me feel this way, you know, all of these things. And your mind is just gone. But once you hop out of it for a second, you like, oh, this is a no good for nothing son of a black mother.
Listen,
you know?
Yeah, all of that.
So I would recommend everyone to be celibate, though it is extremely hard.
It's difficult.
You are able to see the person for who
they
they
are.
truly, truly are,
Yes.
male and female. That's my take on sex.
Yes.
I'm not gonna say if I'm having it or not. I'm not gonna say anything.
You
else
don't have
outside
to.
of
That's
that.
not our
yeah.
business.
Was you about to say something?
That's
No,
not our
I was
business.
not.
Right.
That's not our business. That's not our business.
Thanks.
What did your take?
No, I was going to say, I want to throw it on another angle because I agree with you 100%. But I also think that what we have to get to is we've dated, we're married now, and a lot of times church trains us not to have sex, but they didn't teach us how to please or satisfy or make sure that area in our makeup is properly taken care of
Yeah.
once you are married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, the single folks having sex and they in sin. The married folks ain't having none and they in covenant. So I'm like, okay, we can have a lot of
God.
conversation about who doing it and who shouldn't.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the people who ain't that should.
Yeah.
So I think that, yes, we got to continue to build that barrier and that boundary so that we can be able to see clearly and make good decisions. But I remember Bishop Jake saying, like, somebody came to him for prayer one time, was like, just take my sexuality away. And he was like, no, baby, you're going to need that. Like, you need that. I'm not going to pray that away. You know what I'm saying?
And you can't pray that away.
Right. So I think that we need education. I think we need equipping. And I also think we need conversation like you're doing, Ashley, and shout out to the Good Morning Podcast, to have these type of conversations because then people can be educated.
Right.
Absolutely.
So we're like, okay, they done told you for 30 years, don't do it.
Right.
You didn't pray, you didn't fast it, sackcloth and ashes, you didn't went to the altar and all of that. But okay, do you have a proper sexual lens. So now you don't see it as something that's evil, but you see it as an expression of your
Yeah.
affection.
Yeah.
So I think that we just got to continue to make sure we're properly preparing people on both sides of the dating boundary on how to handle their sexuality.
Absolutely.
That's good.
I just think it's something major and impactful for a man to wait for a woman. To say, you're worth me waiting to marry you, to have you in that way. Right? Because as a man, when you have premarital sex, it takes something away.
Yeah.
Right? Because now it comes something you've conquered.
Yeah.
Right?
Ooh, yikes.
And after you conquer that, then the thrill of the conquering
Yeah.
diminishes.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do that outside of marriage, you open up a gateway for other things to come in.
Yeah.
So if you have a man that's willing to say, I'll wait for you because I want this experience to be in covenant and to last, and you can hold him to that, and he loves you that much, number one, he's going to be purposed in his relationship with you. And it's something major when you have a man that can look you in your eye and say, baby, I'll wait for you.
Can I tell you something from what I heard now? What I heard was when a man say that he gonna wait on you, that make you want to really give it up at that point. Because you feel like, well, if he willing to wait, and I'm so glad he said that, he can have it. You know, because you get men who don't say I'm willing to wait.
Yeah.
And for women who are in a place of trying to hold on to their celibacy or virginity or whatever, knowing that a man will wait is attractive.
Yeah, it is.
And so it makes them go against the grain of what they were making a conscious decision not to do as well. But I hear what you're saying. I'm just throwing that in there for you.
No,
So you know.
I can say this. I don't mind being transparent with it. Like when I got married, me and my wife were both virgins. I was 25. My wife was 30. I had waited 25 years. She had waited 30 years. So shout out to her for that as well. That being said, it was like we've had conversations about it. Like it was great that they taught us how to wait, but there's never conversation on what after. After the wait. So you made it here. I will never forget this, guys. And this is just transparency in this Good Morning podcast. I was walking out of, like, after walking through the doors of getting married, and I was weeping and being grateful to God that he had allowed me and my wife to be able to get to that point, right? That with the close calls and with all the different things that could happen, like the desire that you have, you're human, right?
Right.
And I'll never forget, I knew it was the enemy said to me, but now I got a lifetime to see if it was worth it.
Jesus.
So thank you for the 25 years.
That's the scary
And you're
part.
praising God for that. But now I still
That's
got
gotta
a
be
lifetime to see if I can still get in. And so I think that's when I talk about a sexual lens and perspective. We got to have a 360-degree view and conversation on that.
Absolutely.
Because me and my wife waited and held fast in that area, but yet still ran into like life, right? So I think that we got to just make sure that there's conversation both ways.
Absolutely.
What did you do to prepare yourself that night?
All right. Anyway,
I think that's a good.
all right. Thank you. Anyway, that's a great question.
We
Can
don't
we-
know.
can
We
we
need
we
to
can
know
figure it out.
that.
No, we're coming back to that.
We need to
But
know
let-
because we always said that we
on my
we want to wait. We want to wait, so we want to allow
After
our
the wait.
viewers
Yes.
a sneak peek. How do you prepare yourself for that first time?
I'm digressing to her. So
Okay.
I'll answer your question. I'll happily answer your question.
He's going to answer
But,
off the record. Okay. Here's
We done?
No, wait. He ready. Here's my take, and we're going to wrap this up. My take on dating and sex. I think that it is very dangerous.
Yeah.
I do. I think that it is very dangerous. I feel like it is something very hard to not do, but something very rewarding at the end of the day. Now, in celibacy is hard. It is very hard to abstain from having sex.
When you don't have the Holy
When-
Ghost.
when you got the Holy Ghost. Don't let them trick you, because when you got it and when you don't, it's still going to be difficult. But the only time it's not difficult is you can't crave something you've never had. So if you're a virgin, it's not going to be hard for you to as hard for you to have that boundary. But when you have that desire and you love somebody and you know this is somebody you want to be with, and of course you're already looking like this gonna be my husband, and then especially when you're engaged, that too, because I've had friends who had a desire to wait until they got married, and as soon as they got engaged, it was like, well, we about to be married anyway, so we might as well go for the gusto. It's very hard to just set that boundary, but I believe, and I'm praying for this for me, that is the wait is going to be so worth it, because I want to make sure that I know him, like know him. I don't want the sex to be what I know. I want to know him as a person. I want to know what makes him who he is. And I think that it'll be difficult when you start merging sex into that and all that different stuff. It's like, if I'm attracted to you and that, I'm already dealing with my attraction, so then we add sex to the picture, and that's going to be a whole different type of situation. I ain't got time for no oops, mistakes, none of that. No having to get married because I don't want any of that to be my story. And thank God, I know that has happened to people, and God has, just worked on their behalf and graced it, but I started using my head. I was like, I ain't got time for none of this. So I just need to just act like I got some sense. And then my whole thing was not only just abstaining for the sake of that, but also because I had a desire to please God as well. And so it's like, I think that when we keep those things in the forefront, it doesn't mean that it's not going to be hard. It's going to be hard, and it's going to be harder because the devil is going to try to tempt you. And some stuff ain't the devil. Some stuff is just you. And you tempted, and you're putting yourself in harm's way. But I think that if you are dating, this is just my suggestion. If you are dating and you want you want your relationship to be on successful terms, if you want to give it a fair chance, I would say to abstain from having sex in that relationship. That's going to be my thing. It's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. It's going to take a lot. But my whole thing would be try very hard to stay away from that. Do you all agree with that?
We
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right. All right.
We got other things to talk about.
So there are so many things that we did not hit, but we don't even have time for a part 3 because the season is over next week. But guys, thank you so much for this conversation. I feel like it was fruitful. Again, we do have some things to talk about off the camera because I have questions. There's some things to talk about off camera, but thank you all so much for joining me again. I appreciate you all. Listen, if you think you're ready to date, you need to watch this episode. You need to send it to somebody. You need to do what you need to do to listen, because this was good. This was good. Dating is a transition. And we are committed to helping you find the good in life's transition. So join us next week as we continue to do so on the Good Morning Podcast.